Well, hi guys. Welcome to OWNorDisown. In fact, I've got a new jingle.
Welcome to OWNorDisown, where tech decisions are made easy.
And we've got a special guest today. We've got Will from the CEO of Eluktronics. How are you doing there, Will?
Hello. Good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, thank you for joining us. In fact, I think we've got quite a few people lined up on the chat already. And they were kind enough to put a few questions together for us as well. But the objective, of course, is to share news about electronics. And also, you know, I've got the exciting new Mech 15 G3, which Bob of All Trades has already reviewed. And he had issues with the thermals that got repasted on the CPU with liquid metal. And of course, we've got is it Cooler Master Gel, I think, on the GPU. So we're going to see what difference that makes in terms of the thermals here. So welcome everybody.
Yeah.
And so Will, so tell us a little bit about your company. I think you've just bought a second facility in Pennsylvania. Is that right?
We did. Yeah. I'm over in Newtown, PA. That's where I grew up, and we just started this second location, and I'm super excited about it because now we're going to actually have a production center, and then Delaware will become a service center. We have a lot of good guys down there, so I didn't want to change that. And it's exciting to now have something close, especially for the commute wise. It's tough, but we'll be back and forth still, but it'll be a lot easier to have Newtown up here. Yeah,
for sure. It's going to make it a lot easier for you. So that's nice. So you're expanding. And I know one of the common questions we had were, people in India miss you. They'll say, can you sell electronics laptops over in India? So any ideas you might start spreading your wings, as it were?
Yeah, I looked into that a couple times. It seems like it would be awesome to do, but I hear there's complications. I hear it's not the easiest thing to just start shipping to India, and obviously the back-end support is the toughest part. It's like, how do you get parts to you guys? And I would love it. I would absolutely love to be able to do that, but I right now I don't think that's going to be a possibility. Maybe down the line, but right now it's not.
Yeah. Okay. Of course, there's got competitors worldwide like XMG and Illigear and that type of thing, I guess.
XMG, I don't consider a competitor. I consider them an ally. But yeah, I actually really think they're doing great things too, and they're just an awesome company. But in terms of competition, I'm looking more towards the Asus and the HP, Lenovo, and all those different guys. But
exactly. Yeah. In fact, Muck Switch. Let's see what all from Muck Switch.
I saw Jared's video. Jared's video showed the difference between between the Mech with I think ours was a 20 or 3070, and then theirs was a 3080, and it still wasn't holding up to it.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, yeah. So I think that's a huge advantage. As ASUS lately did not go with a Mux switch, and I think that's backfiring on them because particularly with these new Ryzen laptops, the difference is quite huge at times. It's like a generation of graphics cards difference in performance.
I'll tell you the one thing that's not backfiring on them, and that's their supply. Seems like they've had a good amount of laptops out there, at least. Well,
that's a very, very good point you've made there. So what can you tell us about supply and availability of your laptops at the moment?
It's been a nightmare. There's someone on Reddit who had posted something about how they were, at what point can they be upset? And at the same time, I was thinking, I think everyone should be upset. I'm upset personally too, because it feels like, when we put out those dates, we had production dates that was on schedule, but you can't control if a component doesn't show up, meaning like the key component, like the AMD CPU, we can't do anything about it, but we are trying our best. And we do have stuff that's departing tomorrow. And then that's all staying on track. We're based off my last update. And so I'm hoping to get stuff in next week, and then we'll start shipping our 3080s with the Ryzen 7 5800H and the 5900HX. The HX, though, is extremely limited right now. But soon enough, it's coming.
Wow. Well, you're not alone, I guess. Everybody's delayed. Some people are just like the Omen line are just coming out now, aren't they? And Lenovo is still waiting for their Legion line, so everybody's in the same boat. So you're doing a good job. So let's have a fired up game here. Let me see. We can do some while we're talking here. We'll put in some testing. I don't know if you can see the feed of the stream as well, Will.
No, I can't, but I can pull it up. I can pull it up over here.
You're surrounded by laptops, so it's. All right, so let's see if we can switch feeds here. So, as usual, in fact, let's just make sure. In fact, before we go into this, we'll have a look at some of the specs on the laptop. So we can have a quick look at that first. Let's just unmute this. So as you can see, they've got quite a few laptops available. Of course, we're looking at the Mech 15G3, it's about $2,100. It's the starting price. 6-core, the 8-core, 10. You've got the Intel model there, and of course I've got the Ryzen model here. I think mine yeah, you're a bit stingy with mine. Mine's only got a 512 gigabyte SSD, so anyway, you want at least a terabyte. And of course, you can get the. If I can show you here, the skin, the D brand skin option, can't you? So let's just quickly show you what that looks like.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice. Bit like a tortoise shell or reptilian skin, isn't it? I suppose. And of course, you've got your logo then cut out here at the top. So it is.
I think it's awesome. I love the Black Storm skin.
Yeah. And, do they do different types as well?
I mean, right now with D-Brand, we're only doing one skin, and that is the Black Storm. Obviously, they make a bunch of other skins, but at this point, we're buying per quarter of what we're purchasing for the skins per model, and that's the only one that we're planning to do for this. Matter of fact, when the Tesla Cybertruck comes out, I've already reached out to them. I was like, can I please be a part of the skinning? Because I would love to have a Black Storm Tesla Cybertruck and then have our cutout just like we do, just to follow the whole image of it.
Yeah, no, that would be pretty sweet. All right, so can we see everything? Yep, we can see everything there. All right, so we've got... is that?
That it says Eluk, and I don't know if you saw the hint. It says, "Who am I?" And all you have to do is finish it off with Tronics.
I know, right? Exactly. That was too thick. I mean, that's why I've got Shadow the Tomb Raider here with the puzzles. Even I couldn't even work it out. Yeah. So someone says, "Can this thing not cost $3,000?" Nicola said, "Well, I mean, the way it's configured, yeah, $2,800. That's with a terabyte hard drive, but." Now you can also you can have the option to repasting the AMD laptops in house now as well, eh?
Yeah, we're going to be doing liquid metal for free for anyone who's currently ordering, and then I was trying to add the option. We're just busy. We signed yesterday for that building, but the option of adding on the liquid metal is coming, and then customers from there will then have the option to do so. But otherwise, right now we're just going to upgrade everyone for free because it's not fair. Because I know everyone's going to want that option anyway. So. We were really trying to go mainstream by not having this type of solution, but there was an easy difference between Bob's, once he showed me that, I was like, I have to get it back here. I upgraded it over the weekend, and it was not thermal throttling after we cranked all the settings up. But like I had mentioned to Bob, it doesn't mean that it's still, you can still play the Silicon Lottery. There's never a guarantee that it's not going to thermal throttle, but everything was cranked up and having some fun with it. So
wow, that's good then. Well, we've got the Shadow of the Tomb Raider benchmark just running now, and of course it's got it's a QHD 165 hertz panel, so this is running at 1440p, DX12 highest settings I've got here. Let's see how this gets out, but I mean, looking so far, the
what's the telephone number underneath where it says 856-477-1362?
Oh, that's if anybody wants to. Yeah, if anybody wants to call in and speak to Will and us at the same time, that's the telephone number to call. I've got him on the line here, so perhaps I should do here. Now, one thing I've noticed, I'm looking at here in the feed because I've included the Vega GPU percentage. It's got that as 8%, which I thought I was in. Of course, you've got the hybrid and actually, I'm in hybrid mode here. That's a good point. That's a good testing because I did hybrid mode for the battery life. And the battery life, I did do the test. I got just over 7 hours And then, in fact, what we need to do is make sure we're no longer in office mode. But I know that's of interest to some people.
I'm curious, Stephen, what type of, for tests, for a battery life test, what do you do in terms of your test?
Well, I think once you start one method, you've got to continue down that road, don't you? I just do YouTube and I let it stream my channel, until it dies, really. And I tend to set it 25% brightness because I can still see generally what's going on at 25%. Turn key lighting off, power saver mode.
Nice.
I know you got those inbuilt scripts that they can run, battery mark or whatever it is, and
it's never accurate. It's never anything close to anything what a human would do, and that's why I can't stand those tests or anyone who advertises the battery life. But I just can't do it because I just feel like it's so contingent on how you're using it.
It is. It is. I mean, people always ask, don't they? And it's all relative, then, isn't it? If you're comparing it to another laptop and you're doing the same test, then.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, at the same type of nits brightness, but no one measures the nits before the. Oh yeah, I want the best nits. Oh yeah. So wait until this finishes and see how that gets on. And so some other questions in the we were given were touchpad, number pad hybrid, combining the two. ASUS has that, don't they, on some of their laptops?
Oh, you mean where you tap it on the top right and it just basically appears?
Yeah, I think the question stems from perhaps having a central keyboard in the system.
Yeah,
having a number pad.
For me personally, I mean, I still am using a P650 as my daily driver, and I love the numeric touchpad on the right hand side. I think if I had that in the touchpad, I mean, this is more of a personal preference for me. But I would not. I think that's more of just like a finicky thing. But if I could, I would actually have an enter key in the bottom right hand corner of our keyboard. I've been asking for that for quite some time. So Tong Fang or any of our ODMs, if you're listening, please let's have. I mean, there are a couple things that we've been trying to make changes to, and actually, as a matter of fact, the one thing that I've been doing right after I had talked with Bob and seen this about the liquid metal was I was saying, can we please just have the vapor chamber at this point? I mean, vapor chamber with the liquid metal is
call from
every vapor chamber is the same, but I want to get the right
press
one.
1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hello, we've got another caller on the line.
Hello.
Hello? Who's this?
Okay.
Yeah, I lost you there. I think I had a marketeer calling me up. I thought it was right. So, yeah, right. We're in silent mode. So yeah, just the Shadow of the Tomb. I'm in hybrid mode here, right? So we've got 84 FPS at 1440p. And what we'll do, we'll switch. Yeah, we have to go into the BIOS, don't we, to switch the dedicated GPU. Yeah, you don't have the function in the actual in the app to switch, yeah?
You mean like the DDS, dynamic display switch?
Yeah,
I guess it's called Advanced Optimus. Sorry.
Well, no, I'm thinking I'm thinking like an MSI Dragon Center. You can do that within Dragon Center switch.
But then it makes you restart the system, right?
Yeah, but here yours you have to go into the BIOS itself.
Right.
To do it. All right. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we had that Advanced Optimus come out with the G-Sync, and we still have it available, actually. But the panels were so few and far between that we were obviously the earlier to join on. But it's just, I mean, I do enjoy it, but I just don't know if it's actually worth the extra investment, especially with right now with FreeSync on these AMD solutions. But I mean, I guess some people really enjoy G-Sync, but I think between the two, it's not too big of a difference. But
Yeah.
what about your preference? If you had a perfect system, what would you choose?
I like QHD. I mean, this would be perfect for me. Although my software does benefit from QuickSync, so I think I might favor an i9 and a 3070, or even a 3080. I don't care. But I mean, this won my best. This won me best.
Do you still have the i9?
I still have the i9. The Dragon
You had an
Shield.
i9 Omen.
No,
I think you had an i9 Omen.
Yeah, I've got that too. Yeah, I'm going to probably sell that.
Okay.
I've got the MSI GE66 i9 with a 2070 Super. So let's get all this back up and running again. We'll compare the same benchmark again, but this time with dedicated GPU.
Warney's World, 4K baby. So if you had like 4K on a 15.6 inch or a 17.3, because I feel like 15.6 with 4K is just a little bit too small in my opinion.
Yeah, well, Rob's got a Razer Blade 17. He's got a 17-inch 4K.
That I like 17.3 inch more preferably.
Yeah, I've got a call coming in from Germany. Should I answer it?
Let's try it.
Let's try it.
It's probably Tom from XMG.
Call.
Lawrence.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press.
Hello?
Hello. I'm very amazed to get the line.
Yeah, that's right.
How are you?
I'm not sure.
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
Very nice on my side. Yes, that's cool that I can watch you live, but I have to turn my sound off for my laptop for this.
That's all right. Yeah, well, you're on the stream. I don't know if I can hear Will still. Will, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, Will's there. Yeah, so you're great. So I'm sorry, we didn't catch your name. What was
Yeah, very nice. My name is Lauren.
Lauren. Oh, well done. Thanks for joining in, and thanks for joining in the stream. Is there any questions you want to ask Will while he's on? It's hard to get hold of the guy, so ask him now before he runs away.
Okay, very nice. So first of all, I'm not. You don't have to worry. I'm not from XMG, but I have a question to the. So this laptop you are using there right now is one of my favorites to get in this year, but I'm more interested because one side of the thickness and on the other side because of the more style. I'm very interested in the Max 17. And they are also with one of those higher spec configurations. But I'm wondering, in the editor, I can't choose like a not US tastatur keyboard. Thanks from the background. And I was wondering if you can actually change that, because from other sites like the Ioniku from I don't know this website, they are able to change the keyboard layout, but I'm not sure.
Right. To my understanding, some companies are actually ordering the keyboards without any type of writing on the outside. But if they do that, they laser it on. But then if you laser it on, I believe over time that could fade off. And what we've been doing, obviously, is we're ordering it with the keys. They should be shot up underneath. And when you have it this way, that's actually much better for your typing, for the longevity of the keyboard. But in terms of actually being able to swap a keyboard, we can't, because you have to remove the motherboard. You have to remove everything to get to the keyboard. I wish there was really more of just like like some Clevo models have it where there's like maybe 2 screws that you go into and then you can pop the keyboard out. That's not the case with most of our models. And that unfortunately would be very difficult to do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's sad. And another question also to this laptop, about this laptop, is why is this still a 4-zone LED keyboard and not? So where are those difficulties there to have it?
The Mech 15G3 is per key RGB.
Yeah, but the Mech 17, I mean, sorry.
The Mech 17, you would like that to be a per key RGB?
yeah, would be the perfect laptop, I guess, then.
Yeah. So I mean, it depends if you really like mechanical keyboard. I think obviously there's a keyboard cost difference between a membrane and mechanical, but having the Max 17 between a lot of it comes down for the Max 17. You can't have the mechanical to begin with because of the Z height and the thickness of that laptop. But I mean, I guess I think it comes down to cost, I would imagine. But I haven't heard too many customers actually reach out saying, "Can I have a per key RGB solution for the Max 15 or the Max 17?" And obviously for the Prometheus, that's actually only a single zone RGB, so that's even less in a way.
Okay, so no, it's not a must-have, but this like would be like the cherry on the tart. So yeah, thank you very much for all the answers. I'm very interested in the last thing I would want to know is mid of May still a reasonable time for the first of those Mech Z3 to be available, the 15 one?
Yes, that is for sure.
Okay.
Right now we've got enough that I'm hoping to have enough to cover for our current production run, and for some customers who are ordering it with like RP15, RP17, we're advertising a date way further out, and we're actually shipping them much sooner. And that's how I would have preferred this to have taken place, obviously, all along. But no, that date should be accurate right now, unless, honestly, though, things have changed. But I will be sure to update everyone, and I do believe that there should be no reason that this is not going to be the case moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, very nice. Then I'm keep looking forward to it. And yeah, thank you, and enjoy yourself there.
Yeah, thank you for joining in.
Keep watching.
Yeah, thanks for joining on.
Thanks for calling. See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
That was good. I had another call coming in as well. I was scared to answer it. It was. It was a 905 number again in Tennessee. It's the same person as last time. I wasn't sure if it was the same like a scam, but I don't want more than one call coming in. In fact, Tennessee guy's calling again, so let's try again.
Okay.
Call.
Will Jowers.
To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Hello, is that Will? Another Will?
Yeah, yes, sir. Sorry, I'm not a spam caller. I promise.
Sorry about that. It doesn't say on my phone. Normally it says block. I got another one coming in there. Everyone's calling, but I only want to do one person at a time, because it gets it turns into craziness then. So yeah, you're on with.
I understand.
So you're on with Will again. Actually, I've just done dedicated GPU on Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and we've got 88 FPS compared to 84 in hybrid. So that's a 5% improvement there, isn't it? So.
Yeah, this is some pretty impressive stuff. So I've been kind of watching just a little bit. I just don't have a lot of time. So my main question is availability for the 5800 3070 combo, because I'm looking for the best price to performance, and the 3080 is such a high cost over the 3070 for not the same performance gain. And I've got a 3080 desktop card, and it's great, but for laptops, you're so power limited, and I've been really waiting for this Mech 15 with the 3070, and I know there's a lot of supply chain issues, so just wondering what Will has to say about that.
Right now we have, in terms of the 3070 with a 5800H, we have just over 4,000 on order. But that doesn't mean that obviously we're going to get that, but that's what we're trying to get. But in terms of timing, I do not know for sure. But so like as of right now, obviously I was able to say for 3080s with 5800H and some 5900HX will be shipping tomorrow. But we don't have any type of window as to when the 5800H with the 3070 would be shipping for this series.
Okay, you're not projecting into 2022, are you, on that?
No. Yeah, it would definitely be this year. It's just not. I can't say like it's the next couple weeks.
Okay, gotcha. So on paper, what kind of performance gap are you guys seeing with the, with the similar wattage on the 3070, 3080? What, like 10 to 15% gain, maybe?
It really. Are you talking about with just depending on the processor, or are you also going on just the wattage of the GPU?
Assuming the same processor. Like if I went and bought the Mech right now with the AMD processor and the 3080. You know, if you compare it with what you're going to ship in, you know, a handful of months with the 3070.
Yeah. Honestly, I have not gotten to see the 3080 on the Mech 15 G3 except for an early sample, and I can't take that as an evidence of what it is because of all the drivers and different things. So it's tough to say in terms of what it might actually be, but that I would hope. I mean, obviously the 3070 between the 3080 is going to be a good difference between our models with wattage being king here.
I would expect about 15% difference between the two. I would expect.
Okay.
Christopher was asking about do any of the displays have G-Sync, and I don't think that's an option at this time, is it?
They do not have G-Sync. That's correct.
That's correct. Yeah. Okay. Well.
Okay. So so I understand if I were to get the 3080 option with the AMD CPU, and maybe forgive me for not knowing this. So my understanding was you couldn't use FreeSync with a NVIDIA graphics cards, but does it only depend on the processor? Because it does list a FreeSync option with the 5800 and the 3080. Right
Correct.
now.
Yeah, if you select the Intel CPU, your FreeSync option will go away. But if you have the AMD CPU, you'll have the FreeSync solution available to you.
Okay, so basically it will perform just like G-Sync without the G-Sync module.
Right.
Okay. All right.
That's correct.
Well, thanks, guys.
Great. Great. Yeah. No,
that's
thanks.
all I had.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks for calling.
Yeah. Thanks
All right,
for calling.
take care.
That's it. So the temperatures seem okay here, Will. I mean, I've just ran Shadow Tomb Raider. Oh, we've got another one coming in now. You're Mr. Popular.
Call. To accept, press.
Hello, you're on with Will.
Hey guys, calling from Seattle area.
Hey, welcome Seattle.
How's it going?
I love it there.
You can guess which company I'm working for, but yeah, actually really passionate about electronics. Really good laptops, cost effective. I have an Asus Zephyrus Duo, and I was wondering what would it take electronics to experiment with different form factors. The other idea I was thinking about is the heat sinks. Just being able to pick different heat sinks, and obviously I'm thinking about cars, and these are ideas out there. But just being able to create custom heat sinks, or for example, if you dock your laptop, it could sit on something that touches the heat sink and maybe can suck out hot air. But just these exotic designs. I don't know what options you guys have from the electronic side to be able to explore these things.
Yeah, and in terms of designs, I mean, one thing that we've been looking at is I would actually like to eventually have our own unique ID that is not something that we have had to date. Like obviously XMG or other companies have carried our products, have carried products that the ODM make, but I would like to actually design a laptop from the ground up. And there's a lot of different features that I think will be really awesome. I don't exactly want to disclose what they are because I think I don't want that idea to go out there. But eventually that is something that I'm looking to do because I think there are a lot of cool things that we can do I'm not looking for it to just be kind of like a trinkety thing, but I want something it's there for a reason. And like, meaning like, for instance, I believe the Zephyrus Duo, is that the one where it actually like, if it comes up, there's a screen in the back there and that actually helps with the ventilation. Yeah.
Yeah, it helps with the ventilation and it just gives that multi-mon experience. I still think it has issues, like the angle is not high enough. And that's annoying. And I wish it was 17-inch. Obviously, because it was shorted, I would have gone with the Electronics 5. Oh, and I needed the 5900 HX. I just saw the delay, so I decided to go with it. And just to see a different form factor, just to see, is it just gimmicky, or does it actually offer tangible benefits? I'm still on the fence.
Does it feel gimmicky to you, or no?
Well, right now I'm using the Mech G1 RX 2070 because it just feels more natural. But I still think the multi-mon setup is something to explore. I think the external displays they're selling on Amazon, they're destroying laptop hinges, because I was going to try one out, but when I looked at the reviews, I was like, let me look for the keyword hinge. People were complaining that their hinge was getting worn out. I'm still on the fence, to be honest. Like, obviously, it's not a cheap laptop, so it's hard for me to admit if it's gimmicky or not. But it definitely, I definitely see why certain laptop makers are being conservative on. Yeah, it looks cool in marketing, but it might not translate to something useful when you purchase it. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's hard. Like it's hard. Yeah, it's hard. Like for you guys, to make that decision is really hard because it might look cool, but then customers are like, yeah, I just rather the normal form factor, which is why I'm using the G1 RX to have some work to do today, and I want to be messing around with it too.
Me personally, I'm more about the performance than I will ever be about the look. That's my main focus, and that's where I'd like to see things progress, because that's where I feel like, I mean, who cares what it looks like? For instance, you're always looking at the screen. You got your mouse on your right hand side, or I guess you could be left handed, but at that point, what does it matter? It's your performance that matters. Not and obviously the thermals, but I mean, honestly, if you're using that screen, that could come to certain use cases for some people as well. But
I don't think it's enough, because right now, again, I still have the G1 RX 2070, which is 2019, and it's still running really good. In fact, it beats the Duo in Warzone Call of Duty, which surprised me in minimum settings. Nice work, guys. Thanks, boss. And
thanks for joining in. Cheers, buddy.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah, so Cody's asking about the Mag 15. He's got a 1660 Ti. Of course, the common question is, will you be updating it at all? Which I don't think you will be. Basically, once will you also have a better battery? I had good battery life.
Yeah, I can definitely say there will be a Mag 15 refresh. I can't say when or what that involves. Actually, I can go into a little bit about it. The 3060 and a 3070 GPU would be an option. I would definitely expect the wattages to follow more to the suit of what other Mag 15s, our current Mag 15 with the 1660 Ti and the 2070 Max Q. One of the things that is a focus is obviously the skin temperatures and the ambient noise and different things. That's more of the Mag 15 focus. But yes, the answer to that is there will be a refresh to that model.
Will it have the same CPU than 9758? Will that be upgraded too, surely, won't it? You can't say that when I see that smile.
That one I can't. I can't go into that one. Yeah.
All right. Well, Cody was also asking about the Max 15. Will that have a bigger battery option at all?
Max 15 will be 62 watt hours.
That's pretty much what it's got now, isn't it? I think. Okay.
That's correct. That is the standard.
All right. So we just ran.
I mean, honestly, if you look at the models, the Max 15 is supposed to be the thin and light for the, you carry that. That was the lightest. I don't know if it is still, but it was. I mean, at the time when we released it, it was the lightest out there. And obviously, the more you add to anything, you're going to add some weight, and that was kind of the focus for that particular model.
Yeah. So certainly, actually, that won my top award not last year, the year before. So you it's like a clean sweep. So anyway, we've just done Shadow of the Tomb Raider 10. I'm actually putting all the scores here at the bottom. It may look like some kind of stock ticker, but I've put the scores in there. All right, so the thermals looked okay. Let's turn on Far Cry, because that's if anything's going to run it hot, that'll be running it pretty hot. And we can have a look at
Stephen, there were a couple questions that you had said that customers had put out there. I'll address a couple of them while you're doing that. Someone had asked, will there be a desktop Ryzen 5000 version of the 615? Yes. Right now, component supplies is pushing that back a little bit, but that there will be a version of that. I think you would see a 615 with a Ryzen 5000 supporting version before you would actually see a BIOS update. As much as I would love to see that for our current 615, it's the resources that you need for that is not simple. So I think you'd more so see an actual refresh version of that to come first. And down the line, I hope there will be a BIOS update. I definitely hope there will be.
Yeah. Because I just tested a similar one with a 3900 in it. It's great. I thought it was a great laptop. I always wanted to try your thick. Hopefully, when you get the new CPU in. Yeah. Well, and GPU option on that, I assume, will be like a 3070.
3070, that's correct.
Yeah. All right. So here we got another caller coming in.
Call.
Vaco Aho.
To accept, press 1. To send a...
That's Vaco. Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, Vaco. Yeah. So you've just bought a competing laptop, I understand.
Yeah,
it was a. Yeah, I wasn't gonna say that, but
I know, but you didn't want to, though,
let's
did
hear.
you? You didn't want to.
Let's hear. What are the specs? What's the model?
All right, it's the MSI GE76 with
Raider.
Raider with 1087 and a 3070.
But
So,
Vaco's the chap who I was talking to you, Will, about the Mac 17 he got from Amazon, which the GPU was running at 87 degrees.
Wait, he's your friend?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's me.
Oh, nice. Yeah, hey,
man.
We were running thermals on your unit the other day, and we actually are seeing 3,900 in Cinebench scores with your 10875H, and the GPU was running fine. Were you actually hitting thermal throttling on your GPU or just the CPU?
No. I talked with Steve. He answered the phone. He told me, he said something wasn't right, so said we're gonna end up doing something with that one, which was fine. That was my concern on it. Like I liked the machine. I did, but the main kicker for me ended up being the keyboard, which I understand with the Z height and everything else. It's definitely different, and to make it a thin and light.
There's definitely a learning curve to that keyboard for sure. And for me personally, I mean, as you run your fingers over it, I can see every so often. I mean, if you're trying to really, really type fast, your fingers can get caught up a little bit.
Yeah, I just started programming school and coding school, so I'm really worried about like what keyboard's gonna be right or anything. For me, I'm trying to type properly for once in my life.
Yeah. Will Nick was asking, will the liquid metal option be, will be offered on the Prometheus as well as the Mac? It will be on the Macs, everything, won't it? You'll do liquid metal on them all?
We'll add the option to everything with AMD. Yes, it takes a lot of time for the curing and actually making sure that everything is performing correctly. But we will add it. Just expect a further time to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I wanted your Prometheus laptop, but I had school starting, so I couldn't really afford to wait. Because even my wife said, "Well, how long is the back order for this stuff?" And I'm like, "It's longer than before my class starts." Out of your guys' hands, and understandable. And she understands it too, because I just was like, the QHD, the chiplet-looking keyboard, and all that. But I mean, I'm telling my friends and everybody, hey, you guys got some Intels in stock. Intel ain't out of this game yet.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, Intel, they're definitely in the game for it. And I think that, you can even see it with this system. There's a different, there's more heat that is generated from the CPU than some might expect, but we're putting a lot of wattage to it as well. But I mean, I think that I love it because at this point it's adding competition to both of them. So either we're going to get better costs for everyone or better performance. So it's going to make they're both going to be pushing each other.
Yeah, right? Healthy competition.
Yep.
I mean,
about time.
You're got machine, so I haven't seen any other machine, like I've told Steven out there, pushing 120 watts through those 8 cores that aren't i9 and actually handling the thermal. Like Alienware is only pushing 104 watts through their 8 core Intel, and they're overheating in the 15 inches.
Yeah.
So yours is benching high.
Well, I mean, I mean, if you're putting up anything over 100 watts, I would say expect it to get pretty toasty. But I mean, at that point, it is obviously it's great to see those type of wattages, but it's also you're getting into a toasty territory with something like that, especially with how thin that Mac 17 is.
Well, I'm just saying, your system, I wasn't worried about it with that. I'm saying,
because
on the other before that, the one core, which was a factory issue or whatever, they're 88 degrees. Under full throttle. I don't care. If I'm doing something that heavy CPU work, I'm gonna put it at max fan for sure.
Yeah.
But fan noise was good.
Absolutely.
Ultra sensitive hearing.
So we've just run the Far Cry benchmark at 1080p high ultra settings 91, which is below what even my 2070 Super gets. That gets like 105. It's getting bottlenecked there. So the 1440p 84, so it just shows, I think even the 5800H in a game that requires a lot of CPU oomph, it would struggle at that. So, but 1440p looks like a decent score. Let's just play the game and see what the temperatures are like.
Yeah, I mean, is there any
Well, the Prometheus is going to be your next machine, right? With the different style keyboards that are 17 inches.
Correct. Yep. The Prometheus is the single zone membrane. And I guess there was a question that I might as well address here. Someone had asked Stephen, will there be any 16 by 10 aspect ratio laptops if we had anything like that planned? There will be a Prometheus XDI, which will be a 16-inch 500 nit QHD 165 hertz that is coming this year as well. So that's going to be an exciting model to add to our lineup.
That will be. And what price will that start at?
We're going to try and stay at the same price as everything else. I mean, the only thing I can't promise is the components have consistently jumped hard on us. And, like VRAM has gone from, at one point $4 to $5 to $4 to $5 per piece, per actual piece. And now it's, I think, $24. It's really adding up. And, there's Realtek chips. I've mentioned this on Reddit. There are a lot of things that are making costs jump. So I'm trying not to increase our costs. Where we can, we're going to absorb it, but it's a tough market to be in right now, especially with other companies that have, contract manufacturing and the ability to, have bought maybe, their year supply ahead of us. That could be the case.
Yeah. What would the battery? Yeah. What's the battery size on that laptop?
It's not. It's around 60 to 65 watt hour, I believe. It's nothing. It's not like a 90 plus watt hour for that solution.
Yeah, I only got one more minute, and then I got to go back to my work, which Stephen knows.
Okay, yeah. Well, thanks for joining in.
Yeah, your costs for what you're getting are excellent in my book. I mean, your laptop.
I appreciate that.
Had a much better, because the cost difference between the two machines, say your machine and the machine that I purchased, was a $100 difference from what I had before, and for the extra money, your machine, I would be getting, a stronger processor and a QHD screen, opposed to with this one. It's pretty much the keyboard was what came down to. And that was it. But other than that,
well, I do appreciate that. I mean, we are trying to keep our costs competitive, but it depends on. Obviously, there's going to be a budgeted version of a chassis that will be less, but in terms of the premium quality materials in our laptops, I believe that we're being very fair in our costs.
No, and then when I read some posts from you on your Reddit and stuff like that about how each ODM affiliate takes the machines and you guys are able to tweak them to how you want for your customers and how you focus on. That's great. Seeing you active in the community is important to somebody like me, who's a laptop geek.
Yeah. As far as I know, there are some Max 17s out in the wilderness right now, so it's like. Yeah, it's a shame when you cut a corner just like that to drop a Mux controller. That's a huge difference. That's a big deal to.
I have a 6-core GE76 right now that came bad from the factory, and that thing is benching higher than strict on some benchmarks, probably just because it has a Mux. Yeah. It's only a 6-core.
All right. So we found on beast mode Far Cry, it was getting to 93 degrees. So I've got to put it on balance mode, which will decrease.
Crank it up. It's not hitting T-junction, so you're still good.
Yeah, actually, this is just auto fan. I forgot to mention that, guys. It is auto fan. Anyway, I switched to balance mode here. Still auto fan, and I was
saying, give it the beast mode. It's not going to hurt it.
Yeah, that should be okay then. Yeah. Now, can you do a max fan just by pressing a key combination on this again?
Function 1 should do that now. Your system might not have the latest EC though, so that should be the case. Is max fan is function 1.
Is it? Well, I'll go in there and just. Max fans are on now. That didn't work, so let's put it back on beast mode. It's difficult to do when you've got a camera in front of your face as well. So like 44 watts on the CPU, 114 watts on the GPU in beast mode, and so the frame rate was around about 103. Let's just switch it back to balanced. So we're actually not seeing, you're certainly in Far Cry, not much difference in terms of the power to the CPU. Actually, the power to the GPU's gone up slightly in balance mode. It's interesting, isn't it?
Have you tried it at all, Stephen, with actually reducing the CPU wattage so then you can do the dynamic boost? I mean, obviously, it depends on the game for where it's actually, if it needs CPU if it's CPU intensive. But for GPU specifically intensive
games,
apps, that's where you have to have it. You have to have it less.
Yeah, it's at 50 watts at the moment. But of course, if I go into the beast mode,
I hand chose every single option in that control center.
Goes
meaning
watts.
Like if you everything that it says. I had a good time with that. It took a long time though.
I haven't got dynamic boost. I've got dynamic boost only at 5, so let's increase that to 15 because that's obviously the max it should be able to do. Enable configurable GPU wattage. So I'll check that. So you can actually change.
I think people care more about the hands burning. Yeah, I agree. There's a comment from Ace there. I agree. I don't think you're gonna have an issue with your hands burning, but in terms of putting on your lap, that's a different story. But I think, at this point, I think that everyone's going to start calling it a notebook instead of a laptop because of that.
Yeah, well, we've got everything cranked up to
the max. Laptops get
everything cranked onto the max. So I like to point out that I can feel cool air through the top of the keyboard. Let me see if I can change that shot.
And to answer another one of your questions that someone had asked you, Stephen, there will not be a 5800H with a 3060, at least anytime soon. I mean, like I said, we can hardly even get enough to support us for a 3070 and 3080 order load, so it's going to be tough.
Right, yeah. So I found some, cool air coming through. So I need AWSD keys, which is very nice. So now I've actually, I'm getting up to about 125 watts now on the GPU. So as you can see, there's a lot of customization options you offer you more than anybody else, isn't it, really? By the looks of it.
Yeah.
So you can be able to fine tune things. So now I'd say, we're playing at 1440p, getting close to 100 FPS. Temperatures now at 84 degrees max fan, beast mode, 125 watts on the GPU. That's running great. Well, it's running great. All right. So we'll. So have we got any other questions coming in? Someone's asking, do you sell in Sweden?
I believe that's an option if you log onto our website. There on the bottom right-hand corner for anyone trying to purchase internationally, there should be an option. There's a third-party provider called Zonos that handles anything for the transaction. But in terms of checking out directly through our website, that's not going to be the case. You would actually be facilitating the order through there, and it would actually tell you your shipping, customs, and duties all up front. So then there's, that's delivery to your door. It doesn't mean that you're just going to have to pay anything else upon arrival, but obviously it depends on your country. But that is, I believe Sweden should be an option. Stephen, one other question you had was, that someone had was, do we foresee any touchscreen laptops? And in terms of the gaming laptops paired with touchscreen, I don't see that happening anytime soon. We are going to be releasing a model. Technically, we already have it. We've had it for quite some time now. It's called the XE15, and that's Intel's next iteration of a laptop. That's an i7 1165 G7. So you're looking, and that will have a touchscreen. That's the only laptop that we will have with that. But that is going to be more of a Thunderbolt 4, PCIe Gen 4 type of supporting system.
A business type of laptop, eh?
Correct.
Yeah, not a gaming one. I mean, who has touch screens? Razer didn't they? On some of their Razer Blade line touchscreen. I mean, I quite like a touchscreen, but it's not the be all and end all. But
yeah.
So yes, glitch punk time. We're putting Cyberpunk on.
Cyberbug,
I know, right? Now the speakers on this are very good. Let's have some of the background sound going on. So we're still in beast mode here. I've got everything up to the max. I think. I mean, there's so many different options you can do, of course. Let's just do standard presets, ray tracing, ultra, and I normally set it to DLSS balanced. So that's slick. Yeah. So this is an outdoor scene we're running around. That's the problem with benchmarking this game. It's, you know, there's so many different options you can do, can't you? Running, well, it depends where you are, what reflections are taking place on the ground or buildings or lights. You know, if it's an indoor scene, it's a hard one to benchmark. So let's have a look. So you say it's supposed to, the GPU is supposed to go up to 140 watts.
Through dynamic boost, correct?
Through dynamic boost, yeah.
It would. You would have 125 watts that you can also you can set your target TGP to between 115 to 125, but then your dynamic boost you can add the extra 15 watts. But that means that your CPU, I believe it has to come down to 35 watts or less.
Yeah,
to actually activate.
Yeah, I need to reduce the CPU watts. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, so. Oh.
But the nice part about that is with our control center. With our control center, you can just set that option to, just reduce your wattage and then regulate it. So then if that's a GPU intensive game, you've got it right at your hand.
Yeah, all right. So let's put that to the test in there. So if I just down the performance sliders, I'm moving. Oh, yeah, finally are. Now, can you explain what difference SPL and SPPT and FPPT?
That's between the wattage, like how I'm trying to think, like PL1, PL2, if you're thinking about like in the CPU for Intel.
Yeah.
That's a similar situation for that.
And the FPPT?
FPPT.
The last one. Yeah, I'll put everything at 35 anyway. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, but there you go.
I don't remember that one.
I know.
No, it's fine. I don't. I'm trying to think about what it is. I can't remember either. I'm too used to Intel CPUs.
Right, so I've changed it all down to 35 watts, which you can see here. And look at that. If we can get some long trousers on that guy. So it's still only about 124 watts. It probably depends on the game. Oh God. Getting hit. Let's go over here.
Steven, did you enable dynamic boost in the overclocking center?
I think I did, didn't I?
I wasn't watching, sorry.
Yeah, I've got dynamic boost. Oh, we've got a call coming in from Michigan. No, I've known Michigan well.
Call.
Lucille, come on.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Hello, welcome. You're online with Will and myself here from Michigan.
Yes, I'm from the greater Detroit area. Nice to meet you guys.
Great.
Hello.
Thank you for all the work you've been done.
Oh,
and Will, you too. I really appreciate everything you guys have been doing.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining in.
Yeah, thank you. Will, I just want to say, especially thank you so much for the liquid metal upgrade. I was so glad to hear that. Because I saw both. I saw his video and I was like, ooh, 95, 96. That's kind of a little bit worrying, but. Yeah, I'm glad. So it's performing at 90 degrees Celsius at like 1080p for 50 watts, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was hitting 47, 48 watts when I was running it on those benchmarks, and everything was going well in terms of. I mean, at that point, between the full HD and the QHD, you actually would get better temperatures with the QHD than you would full, depending on how you have it set, obviously. But it's. I think you're obviously still going to reach the heights of the temperatures, but as long as you're not thermal throttling, you're seeing the full potential of the system, and that's what's most important to me. And obviously, I think it's important that everyone knows that even if the system is thermal throttling, there is no potential chance you're going to cause damage to the system. That's something that is important that I think everyone should know, that this can easily handle that and beyond, and that's something that we've indicated in our disclosures. But that's just something I think is good to know.
Yeah, I'm glad. I mean, I'm trying to get as many years out of this thing I can. One quick question, though, and I haven't. I just gotta know. For the mechanical keyboard, is it really that loud? Like, am I gonna be that guy at lecture?
Not well. I mean, my mic's pretty sensitive here, so let me pressing the space bar.
Yeah, I consider this more of a brown. We used to have a blue and a brown on our previous G2RX, and that was, those blues were very loud. At this point, the brown, I consider that a much lighter sound compared to most.
Okay. Can you add like dampeners or replace the switches or anything like that?
No, I mean, at that point you'd be doing a lot more work to the keyboard to do so. And I think if it comes to it, if that's really the case, I would go for the Prometheus XVI, just because at that point, that system's great thermally. It has a membrane keyboard, but if you're looking for a mechanical keyboard, I think sound is something that you should expect for just about any mechanical keyboard out there. I mean, even a brown is just going to be, it depends on who makes the brown switch, but yes, it's still going to make some sound.
Okay, I mean, as long as it's not obnoxiously loud, then, we're all set.
I mean, if you're going into a library, I'm going to say good luck to that. It really depends. I was saying, if you're going into a library, I would say good luck, because I feel like, I mean, you never know in terms, I would be like quietly pressing as I was doing it, and it really depends. Like Steven press right there, it's not super loud, but it's definitely not quiet either.
Right, most definitely.
Yeah.
No, I understand. Well, thank you guys so much for having me, and keep up the great work. I'm excited. I'm already cleaning. I'm already wiping my old SSD, and I put a clean install of Windows and slap that into the new Mech.
There you go.
Great.
Nice.
Thanks for calling. Thanks for joining in.
You guys take care. Yeah, anytime.
See you.
Oh, my boss is calling.
Good one.
Later.
Bye. Hey,
Bye.
so Will, I've reduced the CPU down to 25 watts, and it did hit 140 there. So you probably need to drop round about that level to get.
Maybe it was 25 watts. I'm sorry. I think I said 35. I think you're right. I think it is 25.
Yeah, so 25 watts is where you need to go to the 140. All right, we've got another call coming in from Texas.
Yeah.
Call.
I do have to get going in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
To accept, press 1.
Hello, you're on with Will. It's probably his last call because he's going to be leaving shortly. So how do you do?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
I'm here.
Good, how are you?
So, I was wondering, with the Max 15, will there be a 3070 model available?
Yes. We do have the 3070s on order, but I don't think we have anything. Well, I mean, obviously we have the 3070 with. Actually, do we even have the 37 with Intel right now? I don't think we do. We do have them on order. It's just a matter of when we're going to have it. But I mean, the one model that I'm trying to focus on in terms of what we're going to have for the 3070 was obviously pairing with 5800H and a 5900HX. And for those models, I mean, like right now I've got. Actually, I have it right here. So this is just a sample of the Max 15 with the 5800H and a 3070, and I was doing the exact same test, and I was not reaching thermal throttling on this model, which is interesting, but it really depends on the wattage that it's putting out as well.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be awesome if I could get my hands on one of those. And then the other question sort of doesn't have much to do with it, but what do you think it would take for a laptop manufacturer to make a small form factor box using laptop components? I've done some research into it, and I know that laptop motherboards are very difficult to manufacture. But if you could make something like that, it would be a perfect console killer.
Yeah, I mean, they were out there for quite a while. I think you've seen those backpack versions where they were actually using a mobile solution, and I don't think it really jumped into popularity. I mean, aside from that, they obviously put them in all-in-ones where that's using mobile architecture and actually putting it in like the mobile little platforms in there. But I think the one thing they definitely had tried, a lot of ODMs have tried for a year or two, where they put it out where it was it's basically a laptop in a bag, and it just it didn't really pan out too much.
I always thought that. I mean, I've seen those before, just with the new watt to performance per watt that we have with all this new hardware with the 30 series and the Ryzen processors. It'd be a lot easier to do something like that really powerful. I was just wondering if I mean, I don't expect Eluktronics to come through with that, but if there was a company that it'd be possible for that to happen. Well, thank you so much.
I can't see it happening, but yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. And see you, bye.
Bye.
Well, what would you say the lifespan is on liquid metal? Probably the last question here for you. You think it probably lasts a good couple of years, 3 years?
I believe it lasts a couple of years. I've obviously been releasing this for quite some time. We haven't had customers coming back saying, "Hey, I really need a repace," or anything in that regard. And I think that really comes down to some customers are very, very stringent on it. They saw my system was posting at 90C, and then now it's hitting 92C after 6 to 8 months of use. I don't consider that a reason for needing a repace. But obviously, if you're getting all of a sudden all of your cores are just different cores are hitting thermal throttling, that's a different case. But I do not see it being something within a year or something. That I think it's a couple years. I mean, like I said, my P650 is a daily driver. I've had that laptop for, I have a 970M inside of there, so it's been out there for quite a bit, and I haven't needed a repace on mine, and I use it nonstop. I'm using my laptop, so
that's good then. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it. You've got to get going, of course. So I'd like to thank you very much for your time. You've been very helpful to everybody. I think we'll give him a round of applause. I think.
Thank you.
No, don't do a bow or anything like that.
Well, I like the new setup, Stephen. It's great. It looking good.
That's good. Yeah, well, it worked quite well, I think, with the phone calls, didn't it?
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. Yeah, you're a very popular guy. I thought you'd go out with a big head. Everybody, Mr. Popular. All right. Well, thanks again, and thanks everybody for calling in. Now we're going to continue here doing some more tests. We've got a few more games to run, a few CPU benchmarks. So we'll say goodbye to Will, and thanks again for all your hard work.
Thanks, everyone.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right, it's just me now. I feel all alone. That's just me. That's okay. So anyway, I think that worked out quite well. If I could switch to my main camera here. So I hope that worked out quite well. Some good questions I felt there, and certainly it's interesting about the Mag 15. I wasn't expecting a revamped version of that, so that's going to be exciting. It stayed very quiet on the CPU, didn't he? So I think that's obviously going to be one of the new, 11,000 series CPUs. In fact, I do have one of those coming in. I've got 11900K and a 165 watt 3080 laptop coming in from HID Evolution. So that's going to be one hell of a beast. So anyway, let's go. We've got Battlefield going here now. Yeah, Mark, I thought that session was wonderful too. A 500 nit 16-inch laptop would be all right. Yeah, small battery, shame. But so anyway, here we are, multiplayer. I've got everything. I've got multi-frame, whatever it is, activated this time. So 1080p. It's hard to play with this camera in front of my face, but we'll have a look. So we might see a bit of a CPU bottleneck here, perhaps at 1080p, one would think, perhaps. I'm only 25 watts though, bear that in mind. I can increase it. We'll see how we get on. Now, the idea is to see if we can get this pushed up to 140 watts on the GPU. Yeah, I think that phone thing worked well. But what a hassle I had of setting it up with OBS. If someone can tell me the best way to connect Zoom and OBS. I tried their virtual webcam and it didn't work. So that's why we went to this route. But to be fair, it worked fairly well, I think. I like the fact that he was on the phone call. Wow, I can't see the screen. In fact, we can do a picture-in-picture. And there you go. Now you can see me. All right, spawn. Yeah, who needs to see the screen? I don't. It's right in the center as well, so I can't even see my gun. Let's go to D. Oh, and so look at the 82%. That's what I suspected. Now it's like 70 FPS. You know, it's 1080p, ultra settings. Oh God, didn't see him because of the freaking camera. Oh, squad leader, great. All right, so here we are. This has all got all the ray. No, I don't have ray tracing. This is actually DX11 because I hate DX12 in this game. So we're getting up to 135 watts, but still it's not translating into really high FPS. So let's switch the to the resolution. Let's apply that. Make sure all the other settings haven't changed. Easing off, that's good. Alright, so we're getting better GPU utilization now. Oh my God! Sniped from over. Hey, I'm changing settings. You can't shoot me when I'm changing settings. So yeah, let's go try with. Yeah, that's a good idea. So 1080p, and we'll play with a higher CPU watts than alright. While I'm bleeding out there. So let's go back to 1080p. 65 Hertz. Apply. Let's increase the watts to the CPU. Let's crank it up. Crank it up. It's on, desync off. So that's better than, yeah, so we definitely need a bit more watts. Oh, not living long enough to show anything here. I'll have to spawn underground. So that seems to solve that problem. So what we'll do, we'll do a benchmark here, shouldn't I? So, no, well. All these people shooting me back here. So still not a great frames though, and it's getting good GPU utilization. I think yeah, we're gonna have to play this at like 1440p. Oh well, he took me out as I was getting my freaking smoke grenade. Let's do the benchmark. And save it here. Right, so we can actually see what we're dealing with. Now normally, I mean, I'd be expecting to get, I don't know, my 2070 Super gets about 120 FPS. Oh, you're only getting like 70s, aren't we? Yeah. Let's go. We're outside a bit here, might help. You know, we're just going to go around and get E. So look at the temperatures, and so 85 degrees on the CPU. That's max fans, of course, and we're pulling 48 watts. We're at a max watt, so that's not bad at all. So we shoot this guy. Can I see him? I'll teach you. I killed somebody on camera, right? So it's proof that I can kill somebody who's lying still. But you guys can't do that. Right, who's going to go around here? So actually, it's not too bad. But then again, you know, still, my 2070 Super gets this performance at 1080p. So while I'm under here, let's just switch the resolution again. And see what we get. I must admit, Rob, you got 4K screen. That must take some doing to push that. Of course, you got the 3080. But still, this is doing, I think, okay. And if you want to play 60 FPS. Oh, you know, by the time we swim here, look, we're getting the we're getting the base. That's funny, isn't it? Oh my god. As we get most of the bases. So, how does 1080p look on the 1440? You know, I think it doesn't look too bad. I spent half my time trying to avoid getting killed, so... but yeah, it probably does look a little bit more softer. But... it's a small screen, so I don't think it really matters too bad much. Now, oh god, when did it fucking materialize? Oh, it's let's Alt end. No, of course I switched resolution then, didn't I? So it would be an unfair benchmark. But it looks like we're getting around about perhaps 100 FPS at best at 1080p, and they're in the 70s at 1440p there, won't we? So all right, let's quit. The i9 actually, I think the i9 does make a big difference. I think my Dragon Shield it makes a huge difference. I mean, it must do, because my 2070 Super, in my test with the GE66, on average was 15% behind the 3070 behind this. But not in all the games. I mean, Battlefield 5, it was close, and Far Cry, it was the 3070 got beat quite easily. Now, where's the mouse gone? Jesus. There you are. Alright, so let's have a look what game should we do now. In fact, do you want to do a CPU test? Let's see what Citybench R20 will get here. Check the power mode, beast mode, so we're going to be max. Everything. See what we get. Can I use this laptop for gaming? Hello, Jared. Good to see you, man. What time's it over there? Yeah, we're getting we've got a lot of people on here at the moment. It's pretty good. You missed the phone in, Jared, before. That was quite good fun. So what laptops are you working on at the moment? I say laptops because normally you have like 8. It says 9 a.m. breakfast time. So if you're just joining in, we're testing the Mech 15G3 from Eluktronics. In fact, this was Jared's favourite laptop, I think I remember him saying. And certainly it was my favourite last year. They've improved it because the webcam is now up at the top. Of course, now we've got a 5800H in to give it a bit extra oomph. Look at that, we've got 4,925 points in Cinebench R20. Now, I've seen scores of like 5,100 or so, but still, I mean, that's much better than my i9. The i9 gets like 4,400 at best, so we'll add that into the scores here. So we're keeping a track at the rolling text at the bottom of the scores. So Cinebench R20. 4925. Alright, that's that. And it's, you know what, let's do a Geekbench 5 and we can compare it to... I don't have a chance to install it yet. And we'll see how that compares to other ones. Oh yeah, run 3D Mark. Yeah, I'll do 3D Mark. Let's install this now. We'll have started the process. Let's come back to this one. Let's close that down. So, 3D Mark, I got that somewhere. Steam, no Steam. I've got the max fans, you can hear that going. So actually, I mean, this is quite a sensitive mic, so you can pick up the fans quite nicely. So we can, of course, it's got an office mode, and that makes it, you know, you can fairly quiet, and you can configure the fan profile yourself. Although you can't max it out with your custom fan profile, it only goes up to I think 80%. Let's make sure we're not doing the good straight into it. Will it come with the 11th gen? You know, that was a question we could have asked Will. I reckon it will do at some point, won't it? It probably will be. It'll get upgraded to the 11th gen. I know you can get, of course, you got the 10th gen at the moment in the Ryzen. So as that's running there. Did you give it to this? Trying to get me the laptop screen on. There it is, yeah. So we'll just look at the options again. So yeah, the current option is a 10750H. Now, like we were talking about before, the Max 17 with that CPU was actually running a bit hot. So yeah, but yeah, no, I mean, of course, they pushed like 120 watts to the 870, the 10 875H, so they push a lot more watts to it. So certainly recommend liquid metal on that if you're going to get it. That's what I would certainly do. But it got some interesting. The Prometheus does look like an exciting one, doesn't it? But if we're looking like at June time or something like that, you know, it's gonna be pretty powerful though. I'd like that 5900HX with a 3080 Max P. Now I think the only review out so far on that is Dave 2D's, if I recall. I suspect Bob will probably get it next, and then hopefully he'll be able to forward it to me should he get it. But yeah, it looks pretty sweet. So we're running goes Time Spy here. See what questions we've got. Oh yeah, the hinges on the Prometheus. So what did they? Oh yeah, the central hinge. Didn't notice that. Yeah, I'm not a great fan of that design. Although my Omen 15T's got it, so I'm always wary when I open and close the lid to better center. But the Pavilion was the worst because the screen flex was like paper, wasn't it? Yeah, it's not the best design. Yeah, it's a shame. You know, I'd like it if Electronics could actually just, you know, rather than use Tongfang, build their own systems. You know, that'd be really nice, wouldn't it? You know, not be at the begging mercy of your supplier. You know, and they're growing. I mean, they're opening that second facility, so they've got one in Delaware and one in Pennsylvania now, just opened up today. So that's good. So I hope you're enjoying it so far. I mean, we've done Shadow of Tomb Raider, Far Cry, Cyberpunk, Battlefield 5, and I think a 1080p to 5800H does tend to bottleneck it unless you do push out a lot of watts. You actually need to. Now, as I showed before, that the Electronics laptop here, they actually allow a lot of customization, so you can control the TDP across the board, you know, including the GPU, everything. So, and of course, you do have the mux switch, which, you know, did give us an extra 5% in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So here we go. For Time Spy, we got a GPU score 11,002. Now that's not bad. I actually beat the GE66. Yeah, that's not bad at all, is it? So let's put that in the scores on the doors. Time Spy. 11,002. That's not bad. So let's try. Let's do Fire Strike. You can probably hear somebody walking there. That's somebody upstairs. Now my studio is in the basement. Very hard to insulate against sound from everybody here. It's rather a bit crazy, but so often you might hear somebody screaming. That's usually my kids. They'll be up there having a fight. So 11th gen desktop is kind of garbage, not high hope. Yeah, I'm not a great fan of those the new CPUs. A lot of power on the desktop, isn't it? And I don't know how that's going to translate to the laptop side here. I mean, was it 1100, 700K? I don't know. Was it like 270 watts, something crazy on the desktop? I don't know. Anyway, like I say, I do have the 11900K Evoc coming in. That's probably going to be here in like 3 weeks. Now maybe in the UK. I'm going to have to look at probably flying over there soon, but that's coming with a 3080. Of course, it's got 2 power bricks, which is not my cup of tea really, but it'll compete against the Area 51M. So we've got Fire Strike here going, so you can have a look at the metrics. So what we got? How am I liking the laptop so far? Yeah, I like it because I liked it last year. The reason why I didn't get it and I chose a GE66 was primarily I think the webcam. I mean, I would have gone still for probably the Mech 15, but I did like the Dragon Shield style, so that's where I went for that. And I thought I'd go for the i9. I did some tests, the i9 versus their i7. The i9 still beat it in my editing software. You know, I'm not talking by loss, but you know, it did beat it. And I thought, well, if I'm spending $2,800 on something, I want the best. No, it does not have advanced Optimus, unfortunately. It doesn't have G-Sync. It's just got the regular 165 Hz screen. And in terms of tearing, I haven't had a chance to do my tearing test, so I suspect it'll have a little bit of ghosting, I should say. Sorry. I suppose that's. I think I've installed Overwatch. We can fire that up and whiz around and see if we can see any tearing at 165 Hz. It's probably not too bad. Now it doesn't have resizable bar installed. I know when I did the GE66, they gave me the VBIOS for that, and it did. So, and I'm sure I've seen it on the Zephyrus G15, but it's not on the latest NVIDIA driver here. So I'm not. That's a question I wanted to ask him: if there's going to be another VBIOS we can have resizable bar, even though it didn't actually do any good for me. Now I've got the battery life on here. I got just over 7 hours, 7 hours 10 minutes. That's streaming YouTube at 25% brightness and office mode. And I think it's got, was it a 91 hour battery or 94 watt hour battery or something like that. So it's actually pretty decent. You know, the 5800H is pretty efficient, really. I mean, I don't think it's going to be as good as like the 5600H. Now that's the one I'm really looking forward to, because even the 4600H was getting me 10 hours on pokey batteries. So I've got the 5600H Omen 15 coming in, and that'd be interesting to see what battery I get there. I mean, it makes no sense getting some of these thin and light ones, is it, when you can get perhaps 12, 13 hour battery life on a gaming laptop. So Firestrike 26836. That's pretty decent as well. Let's put that in here. Firestrike 26836. Yeah, resizable bar, it's useless. Yeah, complete dog shite. Swearing online. Giuseppe, hi Steve, just wanted to thank you and the CEO of the updated driver to the Max 17 after our chat of last time. Oh, that's good. Well, what's one good thing about, you know, Will is very responsive, you know, and he takes, you know, personal interest in the performance of all his laptops, so he's willing to go the extra mile to help guys out. Oh shit, I don't want to start it. Alright, let's try that Geekbench. Geekbench 5. But yeah, no, I mean, it's nice. The chassis doesn't feel cool. I mean, it doesn't feel hot, sorry. Yeah, it feels... It's got the cool air coming through the AWSD keys. I like. And of course the speakers are pretty loud. I'll have to go and nip and get me volume meter, and we can do the speakers. It was a bit of a rush trying to get Will on board to try and get him to get all that to work. That was quite difficult, so I finally got it to work. But again, I was trying to do it by Zoom, couldn't get it to work, so you got him on Skype in the end. But so let's have a look. Go to Newegg, look up Max 17 with 2070. Oh yeah. So Alex, we're looking at. Alex has just looked at a 3060 laptop from XMG on the Rad Elk, so you should check out his channel to check that out. He's did a first look video. It was very, very good. It's his first laptop review, and of course he's going to do some follow-ups on it as well. So welcome to the laptop testing world. Still doing this. What score will we get here? Oh, your review's coming up tomorrow. Yeah, well, looking forward to it. Dog shite. Well, Michael, the Prometheus, I don't think I'm going to get one any time soon. I'm not sure. Dave 2D had one. I don't know whether he's run off with it. I don't know where it is now. I suspect the next person will get it will be Bob, if he's going to get one. And then, you know, hopefully then it'll trickle down to me. Nearly at the end of this score. What do we get? 7976. All right, so let's switch over to my chart here. Single score 1443. So it's good single thread score, isn't it? You know, without a doubt. So there we are. We're pretty much up to the top of the pack there. So that's a good performance. I mean, the 5900 HX score I've got just from online averaged out lots of results, so it's pretty much on par with that, so that's not bad at all. Let's save that. Alright, so what game have we got we haven't played yet? In Cyberpunk. Oh, got yeah. I don't have Overwatch there. That's a shame. Let's just do Metro Exodus then. So yeah, would you check, guys? 1440p or 1080p? What do you think you'd prefer to have? I mean, I quite like. I got 1440p on my Clevo 17-inch laptop, which I've had for 4 years. So. You know, I did like that. It's handy for video editing. I understand it's handy for even programming, that type of thing. Yeah, and you can also, you know, downscale to 1080p. It might be a little bit softer display, but not the end of the world, is it? Alright, so we'll actually play this and see what the temperatures are like again, see if we can get it up to 140 watts. E to stop. Alright, video. We'll start off at 1080p. Let's do ultra ray tracing. Ultra DLSS on. Alright, that should be good, shouldn't it? Oh fuck, I've got a small screen now. Alright, looks like we're going to have to play it in windowed mode. Let's change the desktop. You change the desktop resolution, can't you? Let's try it again. So that's one problem you get. You might get some kind of issue like that where you want to play at 1080p and you have to change the desktop resolution to 1080p. So it's not always ideal. In fact, Asus told me that 4K, if you've got particularly 4K and you want to play at 1080p, you just got to change the desktop resolution to 1080p because there's a Windows bug limiting performance. So it's good to know. Make sure we're still okay. 1080p. Oh shit, there's a problem with this, isn't it? Yeah. This is yet another game I've not completed. So Control Enter works a lot of games too. I'll try that next time. Yeah, thanks for the tip. So we've got Ray Tracing Ultra, DLSS 1080p, Beast Mode. We've got all the power jacked up to the max. Yeah. So do you think the 3080 is worth it over the 3070? I mean, what's the extra cost? Extra cost there for the 3080. So yeah, 3080 model on this is an extra $500. That's a lot, isn't it? There's a lot of money. So I don't think the 3080, it's a tough call and a tough don't want to get an extra like 10-15% at best. Yeah, I think 3070 is enough for me. If I was to buy a laptop today, I'd probably go for a 3070. Or 30, I mean the 3060, that Gigabyte G5 one I'm testing. That's great. I'd probably even go for a 3060. Now I know me and Alex for the Rad Elk were talking, and that's a like 105 watt 3060 on mine, and it was performing about the same as his. He said. So. I keep playing the same bit. I haven't gone past this bit yet. Oh my god. Now, I don't know if anyone played Stalker. Stalker was one of my favourite games. So let's have a look here. We've got 97% utilization. That's pretty decent. CPU's running good, so I think the thermal liquid metal's helping there. Of course, I've got max fan going here. Feel like I can switch that off so you can we can gauge. Now you can hear the difference in sound now, of course. Yeah, it's all quiet. So this is auto fan. Beast mode. It's okay, isn't it? I can't hear it. And you know what we'll do? We'll so we're getting like 90, 95. We'll switch to I can hear the fans cranking a bit now. Not too bad though. So let's try if you want a bit more quiet gaming. Where is it there? Let's switch to office mode. If it'll let me. All right, we're now down to 15 watts. 15 watts. Oh, yeah, office mode's not particularly good for gaming. You're definitely going to have to lower settings to game on office mode. So let's lower some settings here. Oh, sort of frozen. Game is frozen.
Call from
Vaco.
Hello, Vaco.
Hey, I just want to tell you real quick, in the office mode settings, you can uncap the frames per second. They're capped at 30 frames per second by default.
Are they? Let's have a look.
Go open up the command center.
Let's have a look at that then again.
It is quite good for gaming.
Well, I don't see where it says anything about any frames per second caps.
I'm watching your screen right now. Go into the
here.
clocking settings.
This where it says I prefer minimum FPS 400. Let's change that.
The delay, go all the way down. Yeah, see where it says enable whisper mode. It says shh or whatever.
Yeah.
Change that to the third drop down or whatever. 60. No. Use the preset.
Yeah, it's I said shh or pipe it down back there. No, that's just going to slow it down.
The third one caps it at 60 frames per second.
All right, yeah. Try to keep it down. Okay, let's try that then.
And it's still quiet. This is what I discovered on the Max 17 when you use that. And that should be good. Also, if you in the home key, there's a mux switch toggle inside of this center too. If you didn't find that one already.
There is a mux switch in here. So what in the home button?
Yeah, it should say home, and then I know there's a 30-second delay between when I'm talking and between when I'm seeing on the stream. Click home, and then switches.
Okay.
You can see it at the bottom.
Yeah, no, I can't even see the home key. It's normally on the number pad, isn't it? So, but
in the control center, you
in the control center.
Okay. And then go to home.
Yeah.
And then at the bottom it says a dynamic display switch. There's your mux toggle, just like in the Dragon Center.
Let's do a system monitor.
General settings, I guess. It's back on the other screen. I thought it was switches, but it's under home.
Oh, in the general settings there.
Home, general settings. It should be at the bottom. It should be like dynamic display switch. It'll show you.
Yeah, display mode. Enable this mode to directly prioritize your dedicated.
There it is, all the way at the bottom. Display mode. There's your mux toggle right there.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, thanks, Dave. Thanks for the feedback, man.
Oh yeah, pretty cool.
I know you've
been
playing around with it before.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I was impressed. Like I said, it was just for me the keys, man. I love that machine though, and I would definitely push it to people. So I would recommend it.
Yeah.
Cool. Now let's see what Francis.
Yeah, we'll see what we get on here. It's taking a while to apply the settings, but yeah. Cheers, Vico.
Yeah, it does take a minute to. You have to make sure that it's applied on the profile. When you click the profile, the office mode, you probably got to click OK in the center, and you may have to reopen the game once it actually is applied.
Well, let's see what we're getting here.
You probably didn't apply it when we went to check out the mux switch. But yeah, look at your frames per second now.
Yeah, well, I switched to medium, didn't I? But still, that's a lot better. Let's increase it to, and it could take ages to change. But
I'm watching it. Well, I'm watching live now. It shows you're getting 80 something frames per second.
Yeah, but I changed
the office mode.
I changed it to medium. Let's put it to just to ultra settings then. If it won't take so long to change this time. But yeah, that's a good tip. Thanks, Vico. I mean, that's what I mean. They've got so many different options here for you to play around with. So.
Oh yeah, they give you total control. You can even put dynamic boost all the way up in office mode, but you can see where they cap the wattage off. But they've capped it and tuned it to still give you good frames per second, even at ultra most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's playable.
See, I thought whisper mode was just for when you're on battery.
No, it's just for people who want quieter machines.
Because that's what it was on the GE66. It actually only work on. I'm sure it did.
Oh, look at that. You're still in office mode, right?
Yeah.
On ultra with ray tracing.
I've kept it at minimum 60, so.
Yeah, but look at that though.
63.
It's super quiet. I can guarantee I remember it. Like.
Oh, I can't hear the fans.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can take your headphone off and look at that, 60 frames per second with ultra ray tracing in office mode.
Yeah, no, it's
sweet,
good,
right?
Yeah. So that's good for gaming for sure. Yeah, I mean the GPU's down to like 75 watts.
But that's on a AAA title too.
It is
current one.
Yeah, no.
That's why I told you, man. If my fingers weren't cursed with the keys.
Yeah,
there'd be that's something to show off to people that people will definitely want to see. Silent mode gaming. Oh yeah. I mean that's impressive. Look at the thermal.
Yeah, I mean I'll actually move my mic really close to the computer here, so you can actually see at the side.
Alrighty, well I gotta take off on the phone. I'll be watching the stream.
All right.
All right, buddy.
Cheers.
Hey, you guys have a good one. Tell Will I said that.
Well, I can't hear those fans at all. Now I moved the microphone right over the keyboard there, so that's a good option for you to do, if you want quiet gaming. Thank you, Vega, for that tip. All right, so we've done that. So let's we can done that game. Unless you want me to do the benchmark one of it, I can do. Or I can do Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Let's do that. I've got that somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, the new control center's got lots of different options in it, a lot more than before. In fact, I should have included an instruction manual. That was all out, wouldn't it? This does that, this does that. Oh, God, I'll do an update. So yeah, I think I like it. I mean, I'm a big fan of the keyboard deck. I like it. It's firm. Let me just see if I can switch to the overhead screen again here. Metal build. It's magnesium alloy, isn't it? So it's very nice. It doesn't seem to leave much in the way of smudges. Well, there's a bit, yeah. The light's catching it a little bit, I guess. It's not too bad. I like the dark stealth look to it. Personally, I would like the covert gamer design on the lid where it's just nothing on there. But of course, you get a D-brand skin if you want a bit of texture to it there. Yeah, Solitude, they're excellent thermals in office mode. That's pretty good. That's pretty decent, isn't it? For just if you just want to have chill out mode gaming with your wife while she's watching some Netflix show. Oh, it's like doing a huge update. Yeah, I apologize. Normally I do these updates well ahead of time. It's only like 9 minutes, so it's not too bad. So let's have a look at some of the questions that are coming in. Is the trackpad bigger than the G15? I don't think so. I think that was bigger. That was quite a big trackpad, didn't it, if I remember right? But it's responsive, and I'm sure it's Windows Precision. We can have a quick look. Yeah, I mean, it's a Windows Precision Microsoft drivers. And I remember it used to be rattly, didn't it? And it's not as rattly as it used to. Used to have a problem with rattly trackpads. So I remember even on the Mac 17, and this one is a lot better. I mean, it's not the tightest, but it's better than it was for sure. And I personally like the clickiness. I mean, granted, yeah, like Will was saying, you can't, if you want quiet in an office, it's not the ideal one for you there. They are clicky keyboards, but it's not silent. Is Valhalla any good? Rob, I don't know. I actually did get past that start scene where I did before. It's available in 7 minutes time. But it's I don't know. I asked before, has anybody actually finished an Assassin's Creed game? I mean, I've got most of them, and I haven't got anywhere near the end of any of these games. I'm trying to think what the last game I finished was probably Far Cry 5. The last game I actually finished. And that's the problem, isn't it? I mean, these games could take like 95 hours to play, and I don't have the time. I don't. So yeah, what's everybody's favourite game out there? If you want to know what my favourite was, Star Wars Battlefront 1, the original one. And that's what's actually got me into gaming on the PC. I actually got it for the Xbox, and my wife hid the CD because I was addicted to it and I wasn't doing any work. So she hid the CD. So I thought, screw that. Okay, I'm going to build a desktop. And that's what I did. And I ended up joining a clan playing that. And of course, I was playing against people with keyboard and mouse. So I was an Xbox controller guy. But that held me on. I did quite well. And I remember when I was doing TeamSpeak, I'd have to have like a mouse on the floor, like a foot pedal to activate push to talk. So I had a mouse on the floor and then Xbox controller. Yeah. And then I gradually moved to having an Xbox controller in my left hand and a mouse in my right hand, a mouse on the floor. So it's like one of those guys with lots of musical instruments. And then I thought, you know what, fuck it, I've got to get used to this keyboard. I've got to be able to do fucking keyboard with my left hand. My fingers will get... I bought one of those devices, where you plug it in and it's like a big glove, isn't it, with keys on it. Couldn't fucking do that either. So I thought that would make it easier. I tried like a little joystick thing with keys, and that didn't fucking work. So finally I got used to it, but I wouldn't say I'm the best by any means. But you got to start young, don't you? So you all, yeah. Let me know in the comments what your funny stories were and how you got involved with gaming. I mean, my first computer was a Sinclair ZX81. Now I'm showing my age here. This was like 1981. Had 1K of memory. That was a computer and a half. And then, of course, I upgraded to a ZX Spectrum, 16K of memory. And, of course, around that time, I think the Commodore 64 was kicking around, wasn't it? And that was quite good. But everything was in BASIC. I used to write my own BASIC games. So that was all pretty... Actually, I enjoyed writing in BASIC. But nowadays, it's tough, isn't it? So we've got like 5 minutes of a stupid freaking update going on here. So let's... you guys got any... your mine was your Amiga 500. That's a collector's item, I think, isn't it? No? I've often wanted to buy some of these old systems. I mean, I do have an Alienware I bought on eBay. It's a 10-year-old Alienware. I've not had a chance to even open it up yet. And I think that's got a 2080M or 260M. I mean, I think that's one of my first laptop gaming GPUs I had, if I remember right, So I think that's when Alienware was a good Alienware, So I want to do a video testing on how that gets on with current games. I also want to do a video. I've got like 3 desktops in my closet there, which have got a Pentium 4. So I want to see how Pentium 4 gets on against some of these computers. But now you're stuck with Windows XP. So Tom says, I have opened it and resoldered jumper and changed RAM and fast to chip. Yeah, we've all got our own funny stories of what things like. In fact, have you guys heard my new jingle? Give me feedback on this. Let me play my jingle.
Welcome to OWNorDisown, where tech decisions are made easy.
I was going to do my own, but because I suck. So the oldest, Arthur, the oldest PC they got is a Dell Inspiron from 2009. Wow. So what CPU is in that then? Would that be a Pentium 4 in that one, or even older? I know my wife had a Pentium 2 laptop. I think it was a Gateway. And, hard drive space in those days, wasn't it? It was like, I don't know, it was in megabytes, wasn't it? I don't know, gigabyte was even a word back then. So we're at 2 minutes. Valhalla's nearly there, 2 minutes. So make sure you're dynamic. In fact, I'm still in office mode, aren't I? I need to change that. We've already demonstrated that. Let's get back into beast mode. It's easy to forget what setting you're in there. So we're back into beast mode, but with auto fan, auto fan. So Arthur, it's got it's thick with two USB-A stacked on top of each other. That's different, isn't it? And your first PC, AMD K5. Wow. I think there is a channel out there that specializes in all this old gear, like blasts from the past. And, it's quite interesting to look back on these things. So we've got about 1 minute, no, 2 minutes still to go on here. In fact, I'll show you, if you like, I'll switch to the... I could go through my setup again if you like. But there we go, there's the laptop there. I don't want to close the lid because then we'll start all over again. But it does have a light bar, of course, here. Now, it's not like anything like the GE66 or 76. It's like subtle. It does have per key RGB. But it's silent. I can't hear it. I can't hear it at all. So there's me switching the 4 different cameras I've got there. So like, yeah, if I want to switch the webcam, that's be there. Switch to that camera there. Side camera is there. So I've changed my lighting a bit because I know it's a little bit dark. So I've cranked them up and I've attached everything to this wooden table now. So it should be a lot nicer. And this table is on wheels, so I can move it backwards and forwards. I'm using a Sony camera as a webcam. Not this one. That was just there to talk to Will. But I got a regular camera, proper camera up there. And of course, all my audio effects are here. So I've got all these buttons here to different music. I can go a fart sound. It's obviously very useful.
Awesome!
So I've got all kinds of little jingles, and then of course I can get 4 different people on microphones. So I do hope when COVID's finished that we can get back to doing people over. I miss. I'd like to get Bob over. He can sit beside me, or somebody else. Perhaps if any subscribers from New Jersey where I live, you can come down and we can do like a video together. I'd like to be able to do that type of thing. Once this COVID's finished, we can do it. I can have 4 people on here. We can have phone calls coming in, and I think that'd be pretty interesting. All right, so it's nearly done. This. Yes, finally, I think we're getting there. So yeah, that's my plan. It's something a bit different, isn't it? At least, I mean, in my last live stream, we only got like 4% viewing. So YouTube probably thinks, "Oh, that video sucks. I'm not going to promote that guy." But it is what it is, I guess. But and remember, I am got my own merchandise now. I know I would plug it, I guess, but I've sold 2 mugs and a water bottle. But it all helps go funding the channel. I mean, I'd like to do more giveaways, and I was trying to think of how to do it, but I'd have to buy them myself, and it's just like, I can't afford it. Now I do have my Omen 15T with a 2080 Max Q. I thought, well, I'll see how I get on with selling that, and that might fund something. But God, this game takes ages to load, doesn't it? Jeez. So Mark says, I do not see any product with a 5800 and 3070. Oh yeah, no, it does. This Mech 15, if you click on the Mech 15, it has the 5800 and the 3070. Let's have a look at the Max. Let's have a look at their webpage again. Yeah, see on the Max there, yeah, your only option then is the 3080, isn't it? I'm sure the Mech you can. Let's just double check. It's the one I've got now. Ah, yeah, you're right. Well, that's what I've got. I've got this. Unless we're looking at the wrong CPU here, but let's have a look. $3070. $5,800. So I've got it. It's not on their website though. It's bizarre, isn't it? So it is available. Perhaps it's available by Amazon or somewhere like that, because I do have different configurations in different places, I think. All right, so it's 1440p. Ultra high. That's been the benchmark on this. I don't think it's got a 3060, Arthur. Yeah, I wish it did. Seems to be a 3070 or 3080. I think let's have a look while this is doing their benchmark. I know you want to see the power usages, don't you? Let me, while this is doing it. Just wanted to quit. And then you're looking at the Prometheus website, what they got on the Prometheus. So again, yeah, it's limited there. I think that's a question we should need to ask Will, isn't it? I'll try and get clarification on that. If you want like a 3070 and a 5800H, you know, on their website, is it possible? Because you're right, it seems a bit limited, doesn't it? I mean, my model's not on their website by looking at it. Oh, yeah. Looks like I've got some kind of spammer guy coming in. No, I've changed it to beast mode now. Yeah, we do have... yeah, that's not that high, like, is it? Remember, it's 2560 by 1440 I'm at here, you know, so bear that in mind. This is not 1440p, which we're probably used to seeing. So, ultra high, 1440p. Yeah, we got 1% low, 39 and 57. Now let's just change it to 1080p and see what we get then. Now the 3060 I just tested got an incredible score of like 66, if I recall. So we'll see what we get here. If it doesn't get any more than 66, then it's time to go back home, isn't it? Option. Let's see if we get on with 1080p. Now this is a graphically intensive game, so it shouldn't be held back by the CPU by any means. Yeah, 1440p gaming, I think it is nice. But, you know, I've got a 1440p 27-inch monitor, and I do like playing on that. I do miss the bigger screen. I mean, what's your ideal screen size? I mean, of course, I think the most popular laptop is 15 inches. So that's probably what most people are going to go for. But do you often use an external monitor with your laptops? Now, I did have a strange situation with a Gigabyte G5, and I demonstrated it in my last live stream that it connecting to an external monitor to bypass the Optimus gave worse performance. It was not good at all. It was laggy, everything, and I tried. If you do go via the display port with a G5, then that still uses Optimus. If you go via the USB-C with an HDMI adapter, then that's directly to the dedicated GPU. But again, I got the same results there. It was bad. So I don't know what's going to go on there. That'll be in my gameplay video, and which will be up probably next couple of days. So you just play on the laptop screen. Yeah. This is my eyes. I don't know. I find I die more on a laptop screen. I mean, I like my laptop for the portability, so, you know, I might want to edit, you know, downstairs, or if I go on holiday somewhere, I want to be able to, you know, take my laptop away, although my wife doesn't want me to take anything with me. No tech when you're on holiday. So you got to smuggle that in. So this seems all right. Let's have a look. So 1080p. We got 70. Well, let's have a look at the graphs. All right, so there you got the Mech 17 there. You know, it's 10% behind the GE66. The 1080p. And that's my Dragon Shield. That is 2070 Super Max P. And the 3060 there, that was the Gigabyte G5. So that's got 66. So, you know, that's something to bear in mind. That's a graphically intensive game. I think the 3060, I mean, if that was $1,100, you know, I think it's probably pretty much where I'd probably put my money, really. I think that's a value for money option. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. I've done all of the tests. I think to recap, you know, the CPU performance is pretty decent. The Geekbench 5, it was like the 5900 HX. The Cinebench R20 was 10% more, just slightly more than 10% faster than the i9. It's faster than the 4800H for sure. Gaming wise, I think you've got lots of good options here in the control center software. You know, you've got the various mode switches, which you can do if you want to play on silent. You can go in office mode, and you can switch all the power limits here, which is fantastic. So if you want to get to like 140 watts, we worked out that you need to move this around these down to about like 25 watt mark to move the power from the CPU and put it to the GPU. You got the GPU target temperature. So if you you can bring this all the way down and it'll lower the clock down and lower the temperatures. And of course, you can change the target TGP or the GPU. And of course, if you don't want a dynamic boost to take place, you can just limit that too. So you got a lot of options, and I do quite like it. The keyboard is very nice. I think the build quality is very good too. It's a mechanical keyboard, backlit RGB, and it's a little bit clicky, but I like it. It's got a good distance of travel. I get good feedback to it. I think all in all, it's quite a nice laptop. So anyway, I hope you guys, let's have a look. One last few questions. Nitro 5 or Legion 5 with a 3060? Well, I always like the Legions, to be honest. Although my two daughters have got Nitros, I've got no problems with the Nitros. I think they've upped the game ACE this time, and I'd like to, if I was going to do a giveaway and buy one to give away, I was thinking it might be a Nitro, but I can't see them on sale yet here. They're available in India, I saw, but I couldn't see them over here. Also the Helios. I think the Helios is just coming with the Intel CPU, but Joe did a great video where he's showing that the Intel CPUs still outperform these new AMD CPUs in gaming. I think the difference was about 5%. It's not huge, but it's there. Certainly better than it was last year. So a lot depends on what you do. Now, the worst laptop, Ellie goes to the Dash F15 3070. Oh, you don't know. The Dash was the worst laptop. I said, OWNorDisown. Definitely with the 3070. Go for the 3061. I think... do I have it in this chart? Yeah, let's just go back to that slide I was showing you before. Just going back to Valhalla here, right? Down at the bottom, I've got so many mice here. The bottom here is the Dash F15 with Optimus 61 FPS, right? So, I mean, that's less than the 3060 and the Gigabyte G5, and I know those two are competing against each other, and that's... of course, when you switch to the dedicated GPU, it did help out, but it's still behind the 3060, so I just can't recommend it at all. It was getting severely bottlenecked. So please, if you're going to go for that one, go for the 3061. Brendan at Gizmo Slip Tech has tested that one. I'm not sure how, I forgot. I don't know if she's done the full review, but that's the one I would go for. It's got decent battery life and there's good build quality, but you do get limited, and it's only got a 4-core CPU. I'd rather go for the Gigabyte with a 6-core CPU. And I'd like to try and get the Gigabyte A15. The A5, sorry, for Gentech PC, that says that's 6 weeks out. So that's a problem we've got here. A lot of availability on a lot of these laptops. It's tough. I know Vaco has been hunting high and low for an 8-core CPU laptop, and they're on Newegg, and then 5 minutes later they sell out. It's a shame. Yes, someone did ask about liquid metal on the Prometheus. They're going to do liquid metal on all of them. Tongfang is doing liquid metal on the Intel ones at the factory, and they weren't doing the AMD ones because of all the transistors. It's quite complicated. It's going to take them time to do. So Eluktronics are going to do all the AMD ones in-house themselves. So they'll probably change that on their webpage so you can configure that yourself. And I certainly recommend doing that. It's quite, that's why Asus is doing liquid metal on all of them, isn't it? Great. Well, I hope. Thank you very much for watching. We'll do one last jingle.
Welcome to OWNorDisown, where tech decisions are made easy.
All right. Thanks again, guys. Bye.